This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Take a Look Tuesdays. Curious what makes Derby Academy so special? Join us for Take a Look Tuesdays, a relaxed, personalized visit where you'll tour campus, step into our classrooms, and connect with our admission team. Tuesdays at 9:30 a.m., now through May 19th. A few spots are still available, so if you've been meaning to visit, this is a great time. Come see the Derby difference for yourself. Welcome back to The Derby Difference, the podcast where we share the people, stories, and experiences that make Derby Academy in Hingham, Massachusetts such a special pre-K through grade 8 community. Today I'm joined by 8th grader Elsie Weymouth. Elsie joined Derby in grade 2 and has been an athlete, a musician, an actor, a student leader, and she's known for her outgoing and gregarious personality. With her sister Lily, now off at boarding school, Elsie is finishing her own Derby journey as part of the class of 2026. All right, Elsie, welcome to the podcast. You ready to go?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I have to tell you before we start, I'm podcasting injured.
Okay.
So you know I've got the new puppy, right?
Yes.
So the new puppy hit my lip with his paw the other day, and it's actually hurting pretty bad.
So it hurts.
And as a podcaster, you know, with a hurt lip, anything can happen. So I'm just letting you know that if this podcast goes sideways, it's because I'm playing hurt. Okay?
Yes.
So you started at Derby in grade 2.
Uh-huh.
What do you remember about your first days here at Derby?
I don't really remember a ton because I was 8 or 9, but I do remember about the really fun things we did in 2nd grade. So we made chocolate, and then obviously the year was cut short because of COVID. But I think the 2nd grader teachers do a really good job of making the stuff we learn really fun. So like I said, we had a chocolate unit where we learned how to make chocolate, and we did chocolate board games. We did stuff based on our Malawi pals, like learning how to carry stuff on our head. And I think they did a really good job with curriculum.
Very nice. And your sister Lily, as we mentioned in the opening, she's currently a sophomore at Berkshire out in Western Massachusetts. How did her experience kind of shape your experience, if at all?
I think it was nice having an older sister here, especially because I joined a year later than her. And so I already had a familiar face, and I knew some of her friends because they had come over to our house before. So I also got to see what she kind of was somebody to base what I would think the rest of the grades would look like. So I knew that 6th grade, I need to work a little hard and there's a lot more homework, or 8th grade, it's fun, but it's also a really important year. And so it kind of gave me somebody to look up to and know what the expectations are for the next couple years.
Very nice. And when did Wyatt join, your younger brother? So was that the same year you did, or did he join after you?
He joined the same year as I did, but he was in kindergarten. So.
Got it. And do you feel like you're a good role model for him so far?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, you'll have to ask him.
Okay, maybe I'll have to have a next Weymouth on the podcast.
Yes.
Favorite Derby memory? Any Derby memories that stand out to you?
Yeah, one of my favorite Derby memories was during sports, and we were coming back from our last game. This was in 6th grade, so my sister was in 8th grade, so it was my last game playing with her of the whole Derby career because it was the spring, and it was a really hot game. I don't even know, I think we lost by at least 1 or 2, and we had made this big plan for everybody to bring candy onto the bus. And somebody brought a big bin. And so we all chipped in and put our candy in the bowl and passed around and kind of just talked and had fun for the last bus ride back.
Very nice. So that kind of leads into my next thing. You've played both soccer and lacrosse here.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite part about being a part of those teams?
I think especially being a captain, I have been able to meet a lot of people from other grades. So right now for soccer, for example, I was an 8th grade captain. And so I got to get really close with the 6th graders who I'm now really good friends with. I'm mentoring one of them in Model UN on Friday. But I think just having that opportunity to meet people from other grades is really important.
Very cool. What lessons have sports taught you about other areas of your life?
I play sports outside of school, and so I didn't really do a lot of sports except basketball. That going in, it was going to be the first time I've ever played that sport. And so obviously there's people on the team who've never played the sport. And I had to learn how to kind of maneuver around that and be able to play with people and maybe not treat them the same way I would treat people who are on my club and kind of like meet them where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really important because they were kind of treating you like that in basketball, and maybe you have to like help them out a little bit more in lacrosse.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a give and take. I like that. Do you have a favorite game or sports moment at Derby? Anything that kind of stands out in your mind as like a big win or a come from behind win or anything that you remember that was especially exciting?
Last year for lacrosse, Derby, I mean, when I come to Derby, like for the teams, I know that it's really fun, but it might not be the top playing that I might do outside of school. But last year, our lacrosse team ended up being really, really good. And we had an undefeated season, which is really fun.
Amazing.
And it was just cool to be able to play with that level of kids who are also my friends, which is really nice.
Very cool. And so how many games did you play in the lacrosse season? How many wins did you have?
Probably like 8 to 10.
Cool.
It was a really good team. Our team's good this year, but we've had a couple ties, so I don't know if it's going to end up like that this year. But it was a lot of wins, and we got matching T-shirts afterwards.
Very nice. They said undefeated season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those T-shirts from last year. Those were really cool.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Model UN, because you just mentioned it a little bit. You're mentoring a sixth grader. What does that mean?
This is my first year doing Model UN. Last year, I did the mentor conference. It's a no prep conference, so you don't need to write any essays before or research your country. You find out all about your country and which one you have when you get there. And so I'm partnered with Gabby Palermo, and we go to the conference, and I'm basically there to show her what Model UN's like. And it's a regular conference, so there's going to be other people there who aren't mentoring. Hopefully she does it next year. Hopefully she has a good experience. And so I'm not the best at Model UN yet, but I know enough about it that I can like show her what it's like.
Why did you join Model UN? Why was that something that you thought would be exciting?
I think, at least my parents told me that it's a really good opportunity, and I agreed because in Model UN you have to do a lot of public speaking, like thinking on the spot, and that's really good to know how to do that in your life. And I've heard a lot of good stuff about it from my friends, and the conferences sounded really fun. So.
And were they? Did you have a good time at the conferences? Where did you go? How did they turn out?
Yeah, so I've had 2 conferences so far. I think 2 or 3 counting the mentoring one. But it was really fun. I was partnered with Benny the first time, and Benny is really good at Model UN and is really good at public speaking. So it was nice to be able to kind of watch him do it, and that kind of showed me like what it looks like and what I need to do, and gave me a good first experience. And they were really fun. I got to meet a lot of new people from other schools.
Nice.
And the food is really good.
Where'd you eat?
Northwestern cafeteria is so good.
Northeastern, you mean?
Yeah, Northeastern. Northwestern's in like
Chicago, I think.
Chicago, yeah.
Illinois, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So at Northeastern, so it was really cool to go visit like a college campus?
It was really cool.
Awesome. So you just finished up the secondary school process. What was your favorite part about it? And what was maybe your least favorite part about it?
I think my favorite part was probably going to the schools and seeing everybody I knew, because obviously a lot of these kids who go to Derby end up at those schools. And with my sister in the older grades, I knew a lot of people who have already gone through this process and are at high school. And so I think I knew at least 1 or 2 people at every school I went to, which is really nice to see them kind of catch up.
Very nice. Least favorite part of the process?
Definitely the 2 weeks at the end of the process when you're deciding what school you're going into after you've gotten into all the schools, because it's very stressful, at least for me, because I didn't have a really good idea of where I wanted to go going into the process. And so it was a little bit stressful trying to pick which one I actually wanted to go to.
Got it. So it wasn't the actual process itself. It was like where you were actually going to go to school.
Yeah.
And where did you decide that you were going to go?
I'm going to Middlesex. I don't know if you can see. I have my sweatshirt on.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. So why did you decide on Middlesex over your other choices?
Well, okay, I don't really know how to describe it. I went to so many revisit days in like the span of a week, and some of them I got on campus, I was like, I don't really want to go here. Like, I already knew that. There were a couple where I didn't know why. They were just like a feeling I didn't feel like the right spot for me. But Middlesex, for some reason, it was a beautiful day when I went there on revisit day, so that probably helped.
Yep.
But it was just like, I don't know. I was just like, I really want to go here. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to 7th graders who are going to start the process very soon?
I think especially during the application process, you want to have time and make time in your schedule to start the essays early, because it's not fun doing it during winter break, because I've seen my sister do it during winter break, and my parents learned to start doing it a lot earlier, and so I didn't have to do it during winter break, and that was really, really nice. And yeah, start the application process early.
A little earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. How did Derby support you through the process? Do you think we were helpful for you? Not so helpful?
Yeah.
Describe the process.
I think the teachers really understood that we were doing all of this stuff outside of school, and so during that span of a couple months, they might have given a couple days that weren't as homework heavy, so we had time to work on our essays. And obviously your class was helpful, and I bet you're going to talk about that. But
Am I? Do I always talk about that?
Maybe.
Okay, so my class called It's Lit,
Yeah.
Leaders in Training. Was it helpful? You maybe talk a little bit about the Who Are You document. What did that mean? How was that helpful throughout the process?
Yeah, so the class, we learned a lot about interviewing, which I think is just a good life lesson and a good thing to know how to do. And so that definitely helped, because I knew nothing about interviewing before I went into this process. And then the Who Are You doc, that was also helpful in interviewing, because I got a little time to reflect about who I am, and a lot of the questions they'll ask you is like about who you are, obviously. And so I already had some time thinking about it before I went into interviews.
Did that help with the application too?
Yes, that too, because you have to write all of these essays about who you are, and I can go back onto that doc and be like, oh, this question's kind of similar, what did I talk about? And then I can write about that in some way.
Very cool. So you're known as an outgoing person here at Derby. How has that helped you as a student leader? So you mentioned that you were a captain during the fall. You've been, in leadership opportunities basically your whole time here. So how has that helped you as a student leader?
I think just getting to know a lot of people, because since I do have an outgoing personality, I tend to talk with a lot of people and meet a lot of people. And I was talking about this earlier, but I'm friends with a lot of the 6th graders and 7th graders because of my leadership positions, but I have a lot of those leadership positions because I got to know them, and I was really outgoing and I had a lot of energy, and so I was well known. But I think just being able to meet new people because I have this outgoing personality is helpful.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
And then what leadership opportunity has been most meaningful to you here at Derby?
I haven't had a lot of leadership positions in the past, and this year I have a handful. But I know I talked about this earlier, but being a captain on a sports team really does help me know how to be a leader in general, but also just connect with other people.
Very nice. How do you think Derby has helped you grow into this leader, the person you are right now?
Yeah, I think they give a lot of opportunities, like spear captain and student council. I think I was on student council when I was in 5th and 4th grade, which kind of gave me a little look to what it looks like to be a leader.
Yeah.
And I think they just give a lot of opportunities, and they stress about how important it is to be a leader, even if you don't get these opportunities. It's important to be a leader outside of it too, and I think that's important.
Yeah. And what about a pre-K pal, right?
Yes.
I always see you running around, a lot of energy with your pre-K pal and all the other 8th graders. That's certainly a cool leadership opportunity that I see you taking advantage of too.
It definitely is. I love my pal Willa.
All right, let's do a little rapid fire. You can answer these as quickly or as long as you want, but I'm just going to go quick. Favorite Derby tradition?
Probably field day. I love field day, but we haven't won in a couple of years, but we're winning this year.
You think so?
Yes.
How come?
I'm spirit captain.
So you're going to bring the noise? You're going to bring the excitement?
I'm going to hype everybody up.
All right, I like it. Favorite hangout spot on campus?
Either the Foursquare court, just sitting there playing Foursquare, or the Gaga pit.
I like it. Best lunch in the dining hall?
General Tso's chicken's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
Yeah, and then people might hate on me for this, but just the regular pasta's pretty good too.
No one's going to hate on you. No worries. Fiddle, theater, or sports, you can only pick one.
I can't. I think probably it's between sports and fiddle, but they're so different that I don't know. I don't think I can choose.
You need both to survive.
Yes,
All
definitely.
Right. I like it. One word your friends would use to describe you?
We've kind of touched on this, but probably energetic.
For
A
sure.
lot of energy, yeah.
A lot of energy. Agree. All right. So as you're getting ready to graduate, what will you miss most about Derby Academy?
Probably the community, because a lot of these schools are obviously a lot bigger than Derby, and I'll have a lot of people in my grade. But here I know everybody really well, and the teachers know me really well, which is really nice. And I know everybody in other grades, and I'll probably dismiss that, like knowing everybody and being really close with everybody.
With your outgoing personality,
Yeah.
you're not going to not know people for very
Yeah.
long. So you have that to look forward to for
Yes,
sure.
for sure.
Finally, this is the last question.
Yeah.
You got through it
Yes.
unscathed. It
I
was a
did.
great interview. What does the Derby difference mean to you?
I think just obviously this is kind of self-explanatory, but making a difference at Derby, and obviously that can be in different ways, like being on this podcast and like sharing my thoughts, or going to recess and seeing who's not being played with and go talk with them, or going to see your pals whenever you can, because obviously they look up to you. And so I just think taking the tiny little steps to obviously make a difference.
Very nice. And you do that every day. I've seen you
Yeah.
out there at recess, hanging out with people
Yeah.
that maybe you wouldn't normally. And that's always really cool to see.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of today's episode of The Derby Difference. A big thank you to 8th grader Elsie Weymouth for sharing her Derby story with us. From her very first days in grade 2 to her achievements on the soccer and lacrosse field, her performances, Elsie has embraced every opportunity Derby offers. With her energy, warmth, and leadership, Elsie truly shows our community and our students that they can thrive in both mind and heart. We can't wait to see all the ways she'll continue to make a difference next year at Middlesex and in the years ahead. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe to hear more voices from our community. And as always, keep living the Derby difference.